Hi there, welcome to this video. So in this video, I will be telling us how to automatically or dynamically change or update your dashboard title based on your selection in Tableau. So this is what I'm talking about. So when you have a dashboard that reflects a chart and you have a title on it and you click on a particular bar chart, you want it to dynamically update that particular field or another sheet to reflect your selection. So going back to this dashboard, so I have two dashboards in there. So I have March as this bar that I'm going to be clicking. If I click on this, I want it to reflect on another dashboard and also on the dashboard where it is. So if I select May, for example, I want it to display May 2023 as the data that I've selected. So dynamically updating this title based on a selection of a chart. And this is particularly useful in this scenario where you want to drill down on a particular sheet. That means you have two sheets, you want the first sheet to filter the second one. But however, you still want to give an update on that selection. Peradventure you do not have it in the view, the dates filter in the view, or you want your user experience to show that you have made a selection and that is the data they are viewing. So it's particularly useful in this case. But you can also apply this logic to whatever situation it is if you want a particular title to be filtered based on your selection. So as you can see, if I select September again, it takes me to this sheet where I'll be able to drill down on all the profits made, discounts, customer ID, order ID, customer name for that order, and I want the user to know what they're viewing. So let's just get started. So I'll come into this main sheet to show us some of the things I've created. We can make this entire view for us to see everything. So this is the bar chart I have. I have created this to show the profits for each of the order dates the months and year is what is showing. So again, I have a filter here just to drill down to 2023 because I do not want it to be messy. I just want us to see for 2023. So that's what this does. We just want to emphasize on 2023 and we want to set the profit for that month and year in that year. So you can see that there is another filter or calculated field in my detailed view. So in this case, I want to show us what this is because it's a calculated field. So the first calculated field I will be showing you is the selected date. And this is what it entails. So this is the formula in there and it's going to return selected order dates based on the parameter action. So what does this mean? I want a parameter action or a parameter to change based on my selection. So when I click on this, I want to update a parameter. So that's what the first calculated field will be doing. So that translates to that mean that I will be creating a parameter first before this calculated field. So let's just close this. I'll go to the parameter. How to create a parameter. You come in here and create a parameter, which I've already done and which is called parameter 3 in my view. You can give it appropriate name for you to be able to identify it. And in this parameter, I have string type and it's going to be empty. Again, the purpose of this parameter is to receive and, transfer values for updates. So it's going to be empty and it's going to be string type. Now, after you've created it, then you can go ahead to create the selected date parameter, which is what is it in here. So this again is going to be transferring whatever selection into the parameter. And the purpose is for parameter action, which we'll be seeing later in the video. So create this calculated field and put this if contains that if it parameter 3 contains the order date I've selected, which I've converted to string. All this is just formatting, but it's referring to other dates. So I did date trunk to make sure that I'm returning the month of that, the year. So the month in that year, and I converted it to string. So if the parameter, which is empty string parameter, contains what I've selected, then replace the parameter 3 with the new selection, with a blank space. So that means if I click a part of the visualization that contains the other date, but however it's already selected in my parameter and is stored in my parameter, please replace it with blank so it removes it. That's the meaning. But if it doesn't contains it, then it should hold that selection. That's what this does. So whatever I click goes into the parameter and it goes on and on. So if my selection goes in, so how do I make sure that that parameter receives whatever I click on? Okay, that's I'm going to be explaining in the video, and that's what the parameter action will help us transfer into. But however, we've created this calculated field. Cool. Now the second calculated field we will be looking at is this one, selected order dates. You can name it whatever name you want to. So this is basically comparing the selected calculated order date and returns the value. So this is just making sure that our parameter 3 equals to our order dates. So if whatever value is in parameter 3 is the same thing as our order date, please return the order date. So we're just tying it to the data sets, basically. So I'm going to close this and we'll go to the parameter action and see how we pass value into that parameter. So however, we're going to put the first calculated field we've created into our sheets, okay, which is in details, and of course we've created our view. So this is a second sheet we want to be filtering. You can just put as many fields as you want it detailed. It's just for drilling down purposes. So I will go to the first dashboard, and before I go to that first dashboard, I'll create a dynamic title, which keeps changing based on whatever selection I've made. Now in this other title, it's just an empty sheet. I'm going to be placing my I can decide to remove this. Okay, let's just leave it to make it similar. So I'll put the second order calculated field, which is this for our reminder, tying it to the parameter. Whatever value is in the parameter is going to be reflected. Yes, that's just a simple logic. Whatever is in our parameter that's been passed into our parameter will be reflected in this place. And again, I've converted it to a date. You can see it's date. So from string, instead of showing string, it's going to be a date, and that's why it's reflecting date. But you can see that I have this. This is just simply me typing into the text pane. You can customize as you want. All right, so let's just click OK. So we have the main sheet, which will help us with the parameter passing, selected dates. Again, is this received the clicked or selected value, and we have it in details. Details is just simple well detailed sheet you want to drill down into, and we have our dynamic title. Now we will place each of them in a dashboard. So this is our first sheet in a dashboard, and the details sheet is in another dashboard, and we have our dynamic sheet as title. So how does this happen? I just simply put this parameter 3 into our view just for us to have context of what the value of parameter is. Now let's create a dashboard action, which is the next thing we'll be doing. So I'll create my dashboard action and can also name it as you want. Sorry, my pane is a bit crowded because I have other sheets there. So create a parameter action, and I'll close this again. To create a parameter action, you come in here, which is change parameter. Okay. So this is what I've created. I'll say edit. All right. So now what's going to be in this parameter action? We select our main sheet, which is the bar chart sheet. We'll run it on select. So now we're going to be putting our target parameter, which is an empty string, in there for now. And we'll put our calculated field as a source field, which is the selected date that has those formulas in there. So what that does is that once I click something on it, it runs our calculated field, and whatever value it is passed into our parameter. So that's how our parameter inherits whatever value is in our calculated field. And I keep it as keep current value. So again, let's go back to, and you say okay when you create. Let's go back to what is in our calculated field again. So when a selection is made, it runs this, which is, let's go to the bar chart. It runs this calculated field, which is, does the parameter contain this date? If true, replace it with this. If not true, make it this. Okay, so that's the logic. So if not true, then this is going to be our value in this calculated field, and our value is passed to our parameter. So what does our value have? Our value have as the order date that is in that selection. So having cleared that, we will go to our bar chart again and create another dashboard action because we want to drill down. Remember, the aim is to drill down into another sheet. All right, so we will come into dashboard actions, create actions, and this time around we're creating a filter action because we're communicating between two sheets. Cool. And this is what we have in it. Again, you can rename it to suit your purpose. Then we have main sheet as our source sheet, and we have the detail sheet as our target sheet. Run based on selection, and we keep filtered values for experience use. And again, I selected the fields because I want to be precise, and make sure you select the month order, the format that is in you want to use is your view with the bar chart view. Do not select the wrong formats because there won't be any communication. You can see the format here, and just click OK and OK, and you will be fine. Now let's see how this plays out, just like we've seen before. So when I click July 2023, it drills down because I have a filter value, and this is what's in our parameter. So that experience is there for the user to say you are viewing the profit for this peradventure you do not have is in your view. And let's go back to our bar charts, and you can see that that's what we have in our bar charts, and our parameter is a string. That's why it's not formatted this way. So I will yank off this field here, so just make sure that we see the aim of this communication while we're going this route. So when I do this again, match, you can see that I'm not clueless about what's data I'm viewing, but however, I can see that, oh, this is what it entails. So that's how to dynamically filter based on a selection. I hope you find this video useful. Thanks for watching.